Dimitri Downing, we're back here in Chicago, Illinois, Benzinga, meeting all kinds of fascinating people. This is a wonderful event, very well curated. Benzinga's doing a great job. I am pleased to be joined with co-host
Max Juhasz from Dope SEO.
Max and I are going to be interviewing Brett, who's a wonderful guy to know and involved in the fascinating part of this industry, an industry that I try to stay away from myself, but it's okay. We'll get into that.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And we have a guest host with us, just like an old industry journeyman kind of thing, who's happened to be here. We invite you to come in and learn about Brett and his company and stuff. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm excited to learn more, Brett.
Introduce yourself to the audience.
My name's Ian Rassman. I do payments and banking in the cannabis industry. I run a nonprofit in California, and I run a very popular cannabis event calendar, so we all know how to find each other all year long.
Yes.
That's helpful.
And you have a little bit of a history with Normal.
Yeah, so...
We always respect that history, the advocacy that came before this industry even existed.
Such a grassroots movement, and it's really a people's movement, too. So, if you're living in a market where you're trying to get cannabis, you need to get involved. If you're living in a market where you have cannabis, surely the laws could be a little bit better. But it's really a people's movement. And Normal's been at it for 53 years now. It's a long time.
It's that long.
It has been.
That old.
Wow.
53 years this past August. I just turned 53.
Congratulations.
Some lucky coincidence we came together like that. But there's been so many great people at Normal that really started this, have been doing this for the last 53 years. It's hard to imagine where we'd be without that sort of effort over 53 years.
I agree with you. And, it's just about you. This podcast is about you. But first of all,
You gotta learn about everybody.
I got to drop something. It's my new theme of the day. And I realized something. The cannabis policy, the cannabis community, the cannabis movement. Why? Because I'm not a cannabis consumer myself or a cannabis patient. But there's stretch that you said it's a people's movement. It's something bigger than that. And I've been trying to search for this my whole life. Like, what are the absolute truths in the universal condition? Like, let it go, let it be, these kind of concepts, these things that are absolutely true. And what's absolutely true is there's the only true revolution that exists in the course of human history is the revolution for freedom.
Ooh.
And this cannabis industry is a manifestation of that revolution in modern times. And how lucky am I? How lucky are we to be involved in it? This is a group of people that have lost their rights inadvertently, some from stupid policies, whatever, decisions of mankind for the last 50, 60 years across the board, who lost their freedom to choose, lost their freedom to access, lost their freedom to produce, lost their freedom to be entrepreneurs, all this stuff, and now are getting it back.
Now they're getting it back.
And so it's that revolution, that spirit of revolution that turns and churns throughout the course of human history that we're seeing here in the cannabis industry. Ian, I love you for that. We vibe on that same level, and that's one of the things that we call Mita Unshackled.
Yeah.
Because we talk about whatever we talk about. That's my thought.
No, that's
Any
fantastic.
thoughts on that?
Well, I got it. Well, I think we were talking about it in Baltimore. I think cannabis is essentially like the great equalizer, to where it's like, especially now with social equity and everything else coming in, it's like you can have. We were talking about last night at dinner. You can start from nothing and start a cannabis business. You know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily have to have a huge, like, I come from money and I'm now, third generation. There is no third generation legal cannabis company. You're not handing down grandpa's paper company or the printing company. Essentially, these are all new businesses. You know what I mean? And like, even like the old school ones are still young compared to everything else in this country. So from that standpoint, from a legacy standpoint, from a generational standpoint, I think cannabis really is the great equalizer, to where it's like, if you want to get into something and you have an entrepreneurial spirit and you have the strength, mental, physical, to go through it all.
But we're fucking it all up with licensing caps, limited licensing, social equity,
all that shit. But
it's a mess.
Yeah, it is.
It's a mess. But it's about Brett.
Yeah, but this kind of ties all together a little bit. It ties
Pretty
it
soon
together.
we're shifting the whole conversation over here.
Tell us about who you are. You want to comment on what we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it ties all together. First of all, my past experience, I started my career in cannabis right after college. So I was 24 years old. I went out to Aspen, Colorado.
Good man.
I was working for a guy that was building a vertically integrated cannabis company.
Okay.
He gets sick, has to leave, and he goes, Brett, you're going to take over the company. There's 60 employees. We raised $20 million. Good luck.
Here you go.
So-
Here are the keys.
Yeah.
Here's the keys.
So
Lock
I
up
was
at
sitting
night.
there like,
I like
what
it.
the hell?
What do I do?
Yeah. Long story short, I think what you're saying is totally right. You know, I didn't know anything really about starting my own business. I didn't really know much about cannabis in general. And that's where I found the fortitude to move forward and figure this whole thing out in 2015 in Colorado.
Right.
Led me to realize the issues with collections and people not paying their bills on time, because I'm sitting there making phone calls trying to get dispensaries to pay on past due invoices.
Oh
because
man, yeah, yeah. I think the funniest conversation is people that are like, "Can you give me a discount if I pay my bill?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know we're 180 days late. Can you give me a discount if we pay? And it's like, this is what we agreed upon. This is what we were owed.
What's funnier is probably more people than not are going to take that deal, because so many people. I mean, we're exhibiting over here, and every other person is owed money, something. Right now,
Right.
it's the talk of the town on LinkedIn. Everyone's
Yeah.
buzzing around being owed money in cannabis. I saw this avalanche to start back in 2015, which is why I started this agency, and we're really focusing on moving the industry forward. But the biggest issue right now is there's no real credit tools, credit scoring, any kind of insight. So people are just saying, I'll give you trade credit for 30 days without any understanding of why or how to do it.
Right. There's no sort of background check. Essentially, you're just like, oh, you run a dispensary, you got to be good for it.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, you
because-
must be making plenty of money.
You're
Because I
absolutely right.
expect you to be making money.
But there
Yeah.
is something that I coined. I'd call it a MITA credit score.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I like
that.
If-
Tell us
if,
more.
If Dimitri Downing has direct knowledge of you making consistent payments, we give you a MITA credit score. That's good. And so there's a guy named George Roop. Shout out to George Roop, Tucson Cannabis Campus.
Okay.
He did a leverage buyout of a dispensary, and he had to pay like $300,000-$500,000 a month, and he paid, and he's still paying every single month for like 22 months.
There you go.
So
Good credit.
He's
There you
got,
go.
You know,
He's got a
paying-
credit score.
He's got an 800 credit score.
Right.
And so he's looking to do another deal, and I'm like, dude, you know, you got to meet an 800 credit score.
Right.
I'll introduce you to anyone. I'll vouch for you, and you have a letter of recommendation from the person that you've paid. It's that kind of reputation that carries with you.
That's
you know,
weight.
and that's one of
Yeah.
the things that
Yeah,
Mita,
that's
and I'll
weight.
share him. There's a bunch of people like that, but I'll share his name because it's an honorable thing. And Mita was created to help with that accountability. So the rats can't hide, the cockroaches hide in the dark. Mita, we created it to create a sense of community where people get together, like at conferences, but at the state level, so that, you know, people can get exposed to the unfortunate practices they might have.
And-
But tell us about your company and your experience.
Yeah, I mean, the experience has been, as you can imagine, incredibly amazing and wild over the last 7 years of people just owing so much money. We've processed close to $90 million of debt through our agency, over
Boy.
5,000 claims. So we're seeing the same debtors over and over again. And on your point, you know, this idea of having a badge or a credit score is our big next initiative. We're launching what we're calling the Cannabiz Credit Association.
Love it.
So not just you, but everyone around can start contributing their information and insight to finally give back, so credit managers can make good decisions versus just, you know, it might hurt my collection business in a couple years, but if this happens, I'm happy because I'd much rather protect.
I mean, that could be the evolution of the credit business, though, to be honest, because, I mean, if then, I mean, essentially that would be something worth being a part of.
Right.
You know what I mean? To have that, or like, or some sort of certification, some sort of stamp, of, you know, seal of approval. Because with, man, I can't tell you how, yeah, same thing. It's like 30, 60, 90 days. And that's on every aspect of cannabis.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's from people buying point of sale systems and not paying for them. That's for people, you know, buying extraction equipment, building.
Yeah,
Like,
everything.
it's not just flour and products. You know, that's across the line. So, and if you said that there was there were certain companies that were just repeating over and over and over and over and over and over.
You want to mention any of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you want to name drop some
You can
people?
actually
This
join.
is who you do not want to work with ever.
You can join our association for a very, very immaterial membership price to
Okay.
then see all of this data around collection claims that we've processed. So you can see some of these people around collection statuses to make sure that you're doing credit checks against companies before you go into business. In exchange for that visibility, we're requesting that those members submit their AR data to us.
Wow.
So that's the way that we're trying to
What's
exchange
AR
that.
data?
Yeah.
Accounts receivable data.
Okay.
Okay.
So sales at 30, 60,
Yeah, yeah.
90. The whole point is right now, if you go to DNB or TransUnion Equifax, they're shooting blanks because no one's reporting their data.
Right.
With our data, we're able to exchange that value because we've got $90 million of cannabis-specific debt that everybody wants to see. So that's the carrot that's going to get people to finally report data so we can have credit scoring in this industry. And that's kind of an initiative I felt like I was compelled to take just because I didn't know what to tell my clients when they're like, Brett, can you help me make a credit decision? Nah, I can't because no one's sharing any information right now.
Right.
It's important data.
Wow. That's
How has that been received? I mean,
I think people are extremely excited about the necessity to have a tool and a solution to finally make decisions. We're all flying blind in this industry. Just, you got a dispensary manager being like, hey bro, will you pay me back in 30 days? Yeah, sure. Like, all right, I'll pay, I'll give you some product. And then they never pay back. I dealt with that year in, year out. And now someone can, at a brand or a processor, can actually run a credit score. It's not out yet, but that's the goal.
Yeah. Well,
and say,
wow.
here's your limit.
so this association is something that you're developing.
Yes. I mean, it's out there now, founding memberships. You get, on a monthly basis, you pay a small fee. In exchange, you're getting access to our collection data through the agency. So you're seeing all the debt being uploaded real time. Every week we're adding more claims so you can have at least some credit checks to do. We're then going to be aggregating all that AR data from members. So in the next 6 to 12 months, we'll finally be able to have some type of real credit scoring for the industry.
Now, is that nationwide or is that like on a
Nationwide.
state-by-state basis?
Nationwide.
Or, really?
How do you deal with people like jumping LLCs and like all that shit?
Great question. Yeah,
there we go.
Because that's what people are
kicker.
hiding everywhere.
And
Or like opening up the separate account. This,
That's what we deal
The
with.
parent accounts.
Okay.
On a daily basis in debt collection, like that's our job, right? We're trying to figure out who actually owes the money, which address is correct, is it the company actually operating or not? So it's a challenge, to say the least. But basically, we're going to be utilizing essentially different partners as well. I'm sure you see a couple of different data partners that aggregate all those licenses. We're hoping to partner with some of these guys that have really organized information and combine it with the AR data. So there's already people that specialize in organizing the license information, laws, liens and lawsuits and all those things that's public, and then combine it with the actual monthly AR reporting, which is what we where we're stepping in to help the industry have a more compliant and risk-averse situation in the future.
Is anybody else doing anything like this? I haven't heard of this before.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so because number one, nobody has anything else to offer for companies to report their data. So if you went and ask someone, hey, give me your data, like you'd either have to pay for it or there's really no benefit. Fortunately, because of our client relationships, our credibility in the space, we have the kind of the platform to make this happen, which, like I said, was really not our lane until I realized we got to do this.
Right.
And, it's got to happen now.
Earlier we were talking about cones,
Yeah. No, well, it's
like
pre-roll
wild
cones and
industry.
stuff. No, it's just funny.
We're talking about
I feel
credit
like
collections and
yeah,
stuff.
well, no, but I feel like every entrepreneurial, like every great entrepreneurial experience, like starts with there is a problem. What's the solution? You know what I mean? And obviously, like you've identified a problem that no one else seems to have figured out, and like obviously you have the people to do it and the data to do it. So just being able to fill that need, brilliant.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Super props.
Yeah.
Like
What do you think, Ian?
Well done.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a huge need. People don't know who they can trust, who they can collect money from, who they can do business with, and get paid. So it's a valuable service.
Thank you.
So let me ask you this, because tell us like some good stories. What has like been your most interesting collection so far? Did you have to send a guy named Biff to anybody's house?
No.
Or
We haven't
just
had to
lost
do
it?
Do you have people
we're
like
looking for
flexing
a
on
number of
people?
metrics. We're looking for the strength metric. The strength you had to go together. We're looking for the dollar metric
The
on what you
fear
collected. I mean,
metric.
like we want it all.
You want it all?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, the funniest stuff is probably the screenshots that, of text messages, including profanity that's being sent to our collection team on a daily basis, which I could, on another podcast, I'll read you the things that they say. But I think
That'd be so good. Print it out and have somebody read it. It's
Just-
like when people read the insults about them.
that's the,
like celebrities.
Like- like on Twitter.
Say about them,
Yeah, celebrity Twitter.
That's kind of like this, but really the best is when we actually see debtors at these shows we see debtors come up to our booth and they thank us. Thank you guys so much for helping us, solve our AP problem. You guys are amazing. I keep getting emails from you, and thank you so much for contacting us because now we don't have any more debt. Like they're giving us testimonials on the other side, where the
great.
debtors are actually like happy to have had us bombard them with text and phone calls. And I mean, There's all
I
kinds of
just feel
characters.
guilty
out-
or something.
Yeah.
How many of them you see walking around and they turn the other way?
A couple. Yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
It actually happens more than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like
Yeah.
to. I'd like to.
Yeah.
Tell me who they are. We'll chase them down.
Yeah.
For you. You know.
Tackle
We can put them on the podcast
Yeah.
and expose them.
And you see him going to dinner at Michael Jordan's
Hey,
next door.
we got a really great podcast here. We're just gonna put you all here, and then just
Yeah,
turn,
the four of them.
turn into like a
Stand
weird
back.
intervention thing to where it's like you guys all you.
Like,
Yeah,
I'd like to tell you all why you're
exactly.
here.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Exactly. Well, I'll approach him. I'll say, "What do you guys do?" And I'll
Yeah.
invite them to the podcast.
Yeah.
And then you get a record of the debt. Say, "Hey, what about that debt
Yeah.
that you owe?"
Hey, have
Are you
and-
going to
know,
pay it right
and then
now?
yeah,
You're
then
gonna
you
stand
come around
behind
the
curtain,
screen.
Brett, at the last minute and come around and be like, "Okay, we have a guest moderator here today. Brett's gonna run this panel."
Mita Unshackled could. Well, we can only do it a few times.
Oh, but
eventually,
yeah, because then it'll like
Oh, yeah.
People will be
it'll be
like-
like the Tom Green show where like you can't go anywhere because everybody recognizes
Yeah.
you. We already know what you're gonna do.
They're gonna say, "Meet a
they're
shackled
debt
me."
collectors.
And you get a lot of
Those
views on this.
bastards.
I think this
Yes.
is a big
Okay,
hit.
so then it's a deal.
Deal.
Your largest unpaid debt, we want, and we're going to ambush them. Done.
We
Done.
got the
I love
main
it.
posse. We're going after
I
him.
love it.
What's our percentage?
Yeah,
on
what's
that?
our
I
cut?
love this.
What,
Do we get a
Percentage?
kick?
we get a
Percentage.
percentage
Like,
recovery?
We're gonna negotiate that one.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm saying,
we-
yeah,
hey,
we're,
it's all
we're
contingent.
essentially like your like your dog the bounty hunters.
I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
literally,
Like,
you guys
With-
gonna make the collection fee. I pay my collectors. It's
Minus
the same
the
thing.
mullet.
You're
Exactly.
my collector. You know, I don't need
Okay.
a collector on this.
So no names,
Yeah.
because no names. But like, what's the largest amount right now that you have in your company that's an unpaid debt?
Probably right now that's actively being worked on about 460,000.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
What, 10% each?
yeah,
What's the collectors? 46,000,
Yeah, you
46,000?
typically play collectors between 15 and 25%. So
Yeah,
we can
20
negotiate.
Cheers, we can split. You know?
Ian,
We
we're
can
not
do that.
including you on
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah, come on, why not Ian? I like Ian. Yeah,
I'm gonna catch Brett after the
yeah,
show.
come on, we'll do a secret deal.
yeah. Well, we can do three ways. We can do-
we'll
Do
do
that
a split.
So we just need to know the company.
Yeah, it's
We'll set them up at like MJ BizCon.
right.
And we'll invite them to have an interview.
Dude,
You'll have
Great.
the paperwork,
yes,
and you'll say, I have this 460,000
Oh my
debt
God,
that
I
has
love
your
it.
name on it. What do you have to say for yourself?
Do we get really creative with the background music and stuff? Through like
Oh,
all of a sudden it
course.
goes, ch-ch-ch.
Yeah,
And then it's like
Cannabiz
just we just hand out
exposed.
little like guys, we're gonna play a game here.
it
It's
sounded
called
like a Depeche
Pick-
Mode album there.
Yeah. Enjoy the silence. And
Yeah. No, you did. You sounded like that. No, this is a good idea, but we can't scare them off.
No.
No.
We have to figure out how
So
to
you have to
get
chain them
them.
to the chair.
Yeah, we'll figure
Wow.
this out.
Yeah.
That won't scare them. Yeah.
Okay,
That's
no.
a good idea.
No, I
figure
mean,
it
we
I
just-
love it, guys. It's
Okay.
creative,
Probably
creative,
just
creative brain trust.
easier to just send a guy with big muscles to shake him down.
I know some.
Ian.
You do that. Oh, I don't know about the big muscles there.
Yeah. All right. So what else do people need to know about your company? Legitimately, you're here to help people collect debts, which is fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Great service needs to happen. Don't chase after us. I don't think we have any debts. We're it doesn't matter. What? How do people find you? How do people learn about your company?
Yeah, find us on CannaBizCollects.com. That's CANNABIZ collects.com. We do everything on a purely contingency basis. You don't pay unless we're successful. We can't collect. We've got attorneys across the country that can help you litigate. So pretty straightforward. I'm also on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. Brett Gelfand. You can find me there. And the association is now being launched, CannaBizCredit.com. You can sign up for a demo. Adam is an amazing president of the association. He'll run you through it, the demo.
Beautiful.
So that's it. We're excited about it.
Let Mita know how we can help you promote that out there. And note to those who will come on Mita Unshackled, do not come here if you're hiding.
Yeah.
Do not come
Don't
here
sell any money.
if you
Don't show
cannot
up on
face
stage.
the truth. Do not come here if you're not willing to answer questions.
Right.
That is the message of this podcast.
I love that.
So in the end, we'll turn something positive. out of it.
Absolutely.
Any closing thoughts?
This was an awesome. I'm honored.
Super
Oh
fun.
yeah, Ian's
Dude,
the
this
man.
is-
Yeah,
this
this is
fun
so much
chat.
fun, guys.
Like guys, this
Yeah.
is
You're the man right
Cheers.
here.
Yeah.
Now,
You're the
anyone,
man. You're the man.
I learned normal. You're the good guys, and you always have been, and you always will be.
We're
so
all
thank you
normal.
for joining us, and enjoy the show.
Yeah, it's a
Hell
great
yeah.
show.
Absolutely.
I love seeing you guys here doing the podcast.
appreciate it.
Yeah, this is fun. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Another episode of Meet Unshackled. Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.